Halliday Rajani Crane Volume 2. In this video lecture, I will discuss about the chapter number 28 MCQ solution related to electric potential energy and electric potential. So let's begin. So here question is, an electron is released from rest in a region of space with a known zero electric field. Which of the following statement is true? The electron will begin moving towards a region of higher potential, or it's moving towards a region of lower potential, or electron will begin moving along a line of constant potential, or nothing can be concluded unless the direction of the electric field is known. The direction of electric field, basically we know that it's starting from the positive and ending towards the negative. So when we just simply release an electron from non-zero electric field, so it means that there is having certain direction. So electron will be moved towards the region of higher potential. So option A is the correct option. So question number 3 is, inside a charged conductor under electrostatic condition, which option could be the true? V is equal to 0, partial V with respect to x is 0, or double derivative of V with respect to x is 0, or either 3 options are correct or any 2 of the options are correct. So basically we know that inside a charged conductor the electric field is 0, therefore the electric potential inside the charged conductor must be constant. So option B is the correct option. So the derivative of potential with respect to x would be 0. So when we integrate, so we get in result, and the potential must be constant. So option B is the correct option. So next is, the electric field lines are closer together near object A than they are near object B. We can conclude the potential near A is greater than B, or potential near B is greater than A, or potential at both places or at both objects is basically equal, or nothing about the relative potential near A or B. Now basically the potential is actually decreases in the direction of E, so it depends about the direction of line of force, that where the field lines are actually coming from and they are ending at. So we don't know that either field lines are starting from object A and they are ending towards object B, or it's starting from object B and ending at the object A. So option D is the correct option. This figure is basically shown the field lines around 3-point charges A, B and C. From A, field lines are basically moving outward, so this is the positive charge, B is negative charge, and C is also positive charge. So now which point corresponds to the highest potential? So here when the field lines are basically closer, they are the potential, not potential, basically their electric field is having its higher value, and where the field lines are basically further apart from each other, then electric field strength is basically less. So if we discuss about the potential, then which point corresponds to the higher potential? We know that the basically potential is decreasing in the direction of E. So the field lines actually started from this position and ending on this position. So Q is basically closer to this charge. So I think Q is the correct option. Here P is also in the direction of field lines and it's decreasing, but it's at least a distance larger as compared with the Q distance. So option Q is the correct option, where the potential is basically the higher. A single positive point charge Q is located as shown in figure. Here you can see that this is the charge plus Q, and here is the point P. Basically the potential due to this charge at this point is V naught, and a second charge Q prime is plus 2 is placed equidistant from P as shown in figure. So basically another charge Q prime is placed that is at equidistance from this point as the plus Q charge is from this point. So basically we have to determine the value of potential at P. We are placing another charge that is identical, having the same magnitude as the plus Q charge. So now what would be the potential? If the potential due to this one is V naught, then the potential at this due to this Q prime charge will also be V naught. So we will simply add in case of potential, we just simply add the two potentials, so the answer would be 2 V naught. So option B is the correct option. Next question is, instead of a positive charge, a negative charge Q prime is minus Q is located as shown in figure. The potential at P is now. So both having the same magnitude but opposite charges. When we simply add these terms, we know that the total potential is adding the potential due to both charges with their signs. So due to this is plus Q, and due to this it would be minus Q. So plus Q minus Q, you get 0. So option A is the correct option. Next question is, it requires 1 millijoule of work to move two identical positive charges plus Q from infinity so that they are separated by a distance A. How much work is required to move three identical positive charges plus q from infinity so that they are arranged at the vertices of an equilateral triangle? It means that they are having same of the equal length and having the same angle. So they are arranged at vertices of an equilateral triangle with edge length a. So we have to determine the total work done. So it would be 2 millijoule or 3 or 4 or 9. When we bring the first charge from infinity to any point, then do not need any work to do. So here the W1 would be the 0. So next, when we take the second charge, then let's suppose this one charge and I'm placing it here. Then there will be 1 millijoule of work that have to be done on this charge to place here. So here the 1 millijoule work is required. But when we bring the third charge, Q3, we have to do work against this charge as well as this charge. So we will write here W13 plus W23 as due to W13 that both charges the work done is would be 1 millijoule sorry, and due to this charge work done would be 1 millijoule. So we need to add all these work done. W1, after that W12, then W13 and W23. So W1 is 0 because we are taking from infinity to any point, so we don't need to do any work as no other charge is present there. So first one is 0 plus 1 millijoule due to this one. Then after that 3 we have to do 1 millijoule work, and due to 2 3 we have to also do 1 millijoule work. So overall we get answer 3 millijoule. So option B is the correct option. Next question is how much work is required to move four identical positive charges from infinity so that they are arranged at the vertices of a tetrahedron with edge length a. Now this is basically related to the first question, as when when we are simply bringing two charges, then 1 millijoule work is done on the charges. So now when you first charge take from infinity to any of the vertex, then it would be the 0 work done that is required. When the second charge is taken here, like suppose like here, then 1 millijoule work is required. When the third charge you just simply bring here from infinity, then this work done you will have to done against this charge as well as the charge which is at this vertex. So it would be W13 plus W23, and 1 joule you get 2 millijoule. Okay, so next when you bring fourth charge at this vertex, then you have to do work against charge 1, against this charge 2, and against the charge 3. So W14, W24, and W34. So what you get? 1, 1, 1, you get 3 millijoule. So you have to simply add the total work that you have in the same side's length. So first one is 0, then 1 millijoule, then you have to work 2 millijoule, then 3, then total you have to done 6 millijoule of work when you bring simply and arrange them in this tetrahedron shape. Next question is a point charge plus q is located at the origin, and a point plus q charge 2q is located at x is equal to a, where a is positive, and we know that the potential is 0 at infinity. So which of the following statement is true? Let me make one thing clear to you here. In case of electric field, we talk about the direction. So that's why one positive charge and 2q positive charge, basically when both charges are positive or both charges are negative. So at certain points their electric field could be 0, but when the both charges have same positive sign, or they are having same negative charge negative sign, then the potential can never be 0 here. It would be only 0 at infinity. So when both charges are having same sign, then potential unlike electric field, potential can never be 0. So potential is scalar with simply adding the potential. So let's suppose at this point this would be added q plus 2q, at this point this is also added, at this point these two are added, then never be 0. So it would be the maximum on the x-axis. So option B is the correct option. So the question 8 part B is, in which of the following region on the x-axis might there exist a point where the electric potential is 0? Electric potential will only vanish in the region of not in any region on minus infinity or on positive infinity. So V does not vanish in the region minus infinity is less than x is less than positive infinity. Okay, not in between any region, because of these charges are same value. so it would be only 0 at infinity. Next question is, a point charge plus q is located at the origin and another charge minus q is located at x is equal to a distance. So where the potential at infinity is 0, so which statement is true? Now here in between q and minus 2q, there will be a point where the potential would be 0. So the electric potential can be 0 only between the charges. Option C is the correct option. So potential is 0 in between both charges. Let the distance is x. Let's suppose we are taking here the distance at that is closer to the small charge. Here possibly the potential would be 0. Now we are just simply taking potential at this point. This would be the kq by x, and for minus 2q charge, here the potential would be 2kq with negative sign, as in potential we simply add the potential with their sign. So here minus 2q over, and the distance would be, if the total this distance is x, then at this point, let me draw. At this point basically it distance would be a minus x, because the total this distance is a, so at this point it would be a minus x distance. So accordingly we just simply write here minus 2kx, and we simply add it with the negative sign with this one, and this is equal to 0, as we know that we are going to find the point. So you just simply interchange it here, then the negative sign would be the positive, so plus 2q. Here kq will be cancelled with this kq, and you get simply cross multiply it, a minus x would be there, and x, this would be the 2x. Okay, so now x, when you take it here, then this would be 3x is equal to a, so x is equal to a by 3. So at would be somewhere the distance a by 3, like I think so here it would be the closer to the smallest charge. So here the potential might be 0. So option C is the correct option. Now the B part of this question is, in which of the following region or regions might there exist a point where the electric potential is 0? So there is possibility that more than one option are correct. The potential, if it's 0 between here, then this also be 0 here, but not there, because minus 2q is having very large negative value. So this q is very less, as well as far away from this one. So at this point it could never be 0 towards the positive infinity, so it must be 0 like here, and it is also at minus infinity. So option minus infinity or plus infinity. So option A and B both are corrected, as minus infinity is less than x is less than 0. Here the potential somewhere there potential would be 0, and 0 is less than x is less than a, and 0 at a this position, and in between here the potential. So option A and B both are correct. Consider the electric potential on the axis of a uniform ring of positive charge. Here potential is 0, v at infinity. So Vz will have its largest values where, and v of z can be 0 where. So here, due to a uniform charge ring, the potential at the axis, like at z axis, is at point P, kq over square root z square plus r square. At center, we know that when at this point when z is equal to 0, then what would be the value? Here when put this z 0, then r square will be cancel out from the square root, then you get kq over r. In this way the denominator was very heavy, but when we put z is equal to 0, then now it's taken out of square root, as well as it's very less value. So now the maximum value of the electric potential for a charge ring would be at center. So option A is the correct option. Now v of z can be 0 where it could be 0. Definitely it would be 0 at infinity. If we simply put here infinity, then infinity square plus r square all over it would be infinity. So something where infinity you get 0. So potential will be 0 at infinity. So option C is the correct option. Question number 11 is, consider the electric potential on the axis of a uniform disk of positive charge. Here potential is 0 at infinity. So v of z will have its largest value where, and it could be 0 where. So like ring, it's 0 at the surface of the disk, like here when the z is 0 basically, then the potential, electric potential is basically having largest value at the surface of the ring. Sorry, not ring, it's disk. So option A is the correct option, and v of c can be 0 where it would be 0 at infinity. When you are moving away from the surface, then the value of potential is decreasing, and it would be ultimately 0 at infinity. So next question is, which of the following is always true for the electric flux through a closed equipotential surface? So first of all, we have to know equipotential surface means that at every point of this surface, like let's suppose here or there, at every point of this surface, if it is equipotential, the potential will be zero. So it means that no, not zero, so it would be the same, and the change in potential must be zero at every point here. Okay, there is no change if we simply move a charge from this point to this point, from this point to this point, then you simply don't need to do any kind of work to move through this point to that point. But if we talk about the electric flux, then electric flux, you know that this is equal to electric field strength into of area. So it depends upon the whatever the charge inside the surface is. If you are having +2 charge, then accordingly we have the field lines here, and according to field lines we have the flux here. So option D is the correct option. And the phi A, that is flux, is proportional to the net charge inside the surface. If net charge is more, then definitely flux will be drawn out. Question number 15 is, a small conducting sphere originally has a charge plus q. The sphere is lowered into a conducting can. Which of the following quantities are fixed as the sphere is lowered but before it touches that can? There may be more than one correct. I have found only one. If any one of you know any other option, then let me know in the comment section. The charge on the sphere is basically remains the same, because we know that it's according to the conservation of charge, we know that the charge on the sphere will remain same, as we know that it's not touching the can. That's why it would be the same before and after when you lower the conductor. So next question, ball touches the can. Which of the following quantities are the same both before and after the ball touches the can? And there may be more than one correct option. Once again, if you know any other option with reason, you have to just simply write it in comment section. So the option D is the correct. The net charge on the sphere and can would be the same before and after, as according to the conservation of charges, charge is neither created nor destroyed. It just simply transformed from one to another. When you are simply touching, the net charge will be the same. The last question is, two small conducting spheres separated by a distance of 1 meter having identical positive charges. So the potential of one sphere is V0, so definitely the potential of other sphere will be equal to V0. So the next question is, the spheres are brought closer together until they are touched. The electric potential of the two spheres is now V. So here, when the two spheres are basically brought closer together, then their potential actually increases. So the value of V0 now changes into another value. So when the both basically conducting spheres touch each other, then after that, after their contact, the potential of the both spheres will be the same. It is the now V. So I think this option B is the correct option. Thank you.